Alright guys, so I'm pretty excited for this video because we have the Nama J2 cold press juicer that's regarded as one of the best and most easiest to use for everyday juicing. So this is the box that it comes in. So we can see the logo, Nourish Your Vitality. The J2 is the model name and it is made in Korea. And also they come in a few color variations and we got the white one. And if we flip to the side, we have the same information here. So let's go ahead and open it up. And by the way, on the shipping label, it does say 24 pounds. And it looks like we have another box in here, and it does say hello, thank you. We just got it upside down. And there's a little handle to pull it out. And that's what the box looks like with a bunch of pretty retro looking apples. On the side, we got Nama here, same picture in the back. And on the other side, we got that manufacturing label with some more information and the company info. So this box feels really premium. And on one of the sides, we can see there's a tab here and there's a couple seals that we do need to cut through. And now we can open it up. And wow, check out how nicely everything is packed. Looks like individually. And we get a warm welcome from Nama. Very cool. So let's go ahead and pull these out one by one. And so this pretty large one here says chamber set plus quick start guide. And it has a picture of what that looks like. And also it says start here. So this is the first box they want you to open. We got the smoothie strainer, juice and pulp containers, pusher with cleaning brush. And the last one here, quite heavy, is the base. And that's all the boxes. And on the bottom it says, we're here to help with how to contact the company. Very nice. All right, so we'll start with this one where it says start here. All right, so it looks like here we have the main container. And wow, this is a pretty nice piece. We got very high quality plastics that are obviously food grade. And yeah, overall first impression is very good. And it's not too large either, but the hopper is huge, which is... All right, so this actually does come off. Yeah, you guys can see how big that is, which you could fit quite a bit of things in there. All right, so let's clip this back on for now. So we do have our documentation, which also says start here. And that's everything in this box, and we'll move them out of the way. All right, so let's see what's in this start here packet. So we got the quick start guide. So there's the parts overview, assembling the chamber, then assembling the hopper, final assembly, and additional tips. Yeah, very nice that it's like a quick little fold out that you can refer to if you need to. So we also get a recipe book from Nama. Kind of like this vibe that they got with the fruits going. It really has this retro kind of feel to it. So very nicely laid out, colored pictured recipe book. So yeah, pick a random one here. So we got the morning dew. So they list the ingredients you need and then the directions of how to make this juice. And there's quite a few of these guys, so very nice. And the last book that's in there is our official manual, which is quite a bit thicker and kind of goes into a lot more detail and safety about the whole machine. So yeah, if you're kind of new to this stuff, you probably want to go over this just to understand it and be safe. And actually here's a really good tip where they say put softer things towards the bottom and then harder towards the top. But yeah, I mean, if you used the juicer before, this should be quite intuitive and straightforward. And let's go ahead and see what else we got here in these containers. So here's our plunger, which is this guy here. And there's also a brush. That's actually a really nice quality. And it also has a little small brush that folds out where you can clean like that. So yeah, very cool. A lot of attention to detail, and all the plastics are very high quality. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not the cheap plastic that you normally get, and maybe you can kind of see guys finish on it. It's kind of shiny. So yeah. All right, so we got the strainer, and that's this guy here. And this is where the juice is separated from the pulp. Larger holes on top and smaller ones on the bottom where the juice goes through. And actually guys, I just realized I think this is the extra strainer because there's already one in there, which we'll open up in a second and see. Let's go ahead and unbox the rest of these boxes. So here we have the two containers, which also has a lid. And these are a really nice finish. They're kind of darkened, but they're clear. We got measurements here on the side. And yeah, very nice. And we got a larger one here, which is I think for the pulp, and the smaller one here is for the juice, which has also a lid. And for our main part is going to be the base. Again, everything is very well packed. Okay, so we do get a cord, and this is the power cord to the machine. And I definitely like that the cord is removable. That's nice, especially for storage. And it's got its own little cable tie on it, which helps you put it up later when you want to just store it away. So yeah, and it looks like about 4 feet long or so, and it's quite thick. All right. So the base itself is decent size, but not huge, and it is quite heavy. And this is what it looks like. So if you get the white version, this is the part that's going to be white. They also have a black one if you don't want the white. And this thing does look really nice. We got this large knob in the front that says off and then on and reverse. And the reverse you have to hold because it bounces back. Got the logo underneath, and this is what the bottom looks like. We got some venting here, nice rubber feet. The back of the machine, this is where we're gonna plug it in for the power, and some venting up there. And on the very top, we have the actual connection here, just metal to the motor. And it looks like some kind of sensor here for it to know that it's connected. But yeah, guys, you can see here, it's not that many parts, but very well presented. So let's go ahead and take this thing apart and see. So I just counter twisted this. So this is the hopper. And there's actually a little bit of information here. It tells you which fruits or vegetables to put on the bottom and which ones to go on the top. So if you're like making a mix, you want to put your softer ones on the bottom and the harder ones on top. So the hopper itself is made very nicely also. We got metal connections here for the auger and the blades that spin inside. And the way the cover opens, there's a little button here that you push and it kind of pops out. So pretty simple. And the lid actually pops off really easy. So if you're not careful and you go too much, it just pops right off. So if you want your lid not to pop off, you got to be kind of gentle when you open it. Because if you give any kind of force, it just pops right off. So on the inside, we can see there's some blades in there, and that helps move the contents inside around so they can fall into the hole here on the bottom, which eventually falls into this basket and gets all ground up. And we also have a line here where they don't recommend putting too much above that. So, and we also have a rubber seal here. So yeah, very well built. So let's check out the processing chamber. And this thing is where the magic happens. Yeah, this consists of the auger, which is inside now. And you guys can see what that looks like. So it's got kind of taper here. So it pushes down. And then when it gets down to here, it starts to really work and massage the juice out of the contents. And there's our connection point straight to this guy here. Connect like that through the basket, obviously. But in here, we got a couple more parts. So we got the strainer and then the spinning brush. And the strainer kind of goes into the brush, so it kind of like compresses into there. So the spinning brush has these flaps. They're rubber and also just plastic flaps. And also they have brushes on the inside where they rub against these screens, the mesh, to keep them clean and keep the juice coming. And so the strainer does look just like the extra one. Well, actually, no, it does not. So they are two different kinds. This is a more finer one, and this is a more coarse. So I guess for different ingredients, you would want to use the two different meshes. And maybe you just want more pulp in your juice. This would probably be the one to use. And if you want, just juice and with no pulp or very, very minimum pulp, it would be this more finer one. So yeah, I guess you do have two choices to choose from. And the chamber itself is quite thick and robust. We got measurements here. So as you juice, this will fill out. And the way you release the juice is going to be on this end here. This just pops up. And there's like a little silicone plug here that plugs. And it's very easy to operate. There's nothing hard about this. And on this side, we're going to have the discharge of the pulp. And to clean it out, it does open up like this. And you can, get to the whole path here. And there's also like a silicone little door here that's compressed. But yeah, it just locks over. Holds this together. So yeah, the pulp will come out of here and the juice out of this side. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And we do have a little gear here that has to do with these rotating parts. So let's put this thing back together, and we'll use the screen that was in there, and it just clips right in. And then we're gonna drop it in here, but these little wings here have to kind of line up where it sits in the right spot. And then the auger just pops in, and just like that. So, and now we can set it on our base, and then the hopper will fall in, and you turn it to lock it in. And then our lid on top of that, we can put our containers on each side. So this one's going to go on the right side, which is going to be the pulp, and the juice container on the left side. So yeah, very well built and quite an attractive machine. And I'm pretty excited to throw some stuff in there and see how it does. But we also need to probably rinse it out as everything is brand new. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and also get some fruits and veggies and see what we can make. All right, so I got the whole thing rinsed, and I also prepared some apples, blueberries, and pomegranate that I found around the house so we can get started with. Let's go ahead and open this hopper. The apples I cut in quarters, and I removed the stem. And there's 4 of them, and I think these are gala. So let's go ahead and drop that in there. And you guys can see the hopper gets filled up pretty good there. And we'll set this here. Let's go ahead and throw in our blueberries and our pomegranate. And I actually put all these fruits in the fridge. That way they're cold, and so the juice comes out cold. So yeah, and I think all we got to do now is just close this lid. and turn this knob to the on, and I went ahead and plugged it in the back, and our spout here is closed, and we could probably go ahead and remove this little cover. So when we're ready to drain our juice, we can. So let's twist this to the on, and there it goes. And look at that. Wow, it's making the juice really quick. And here comes the pulp. Wow, that's pretty incredible. And the machine is actually quite quiet. And we're getting pretty full here, so I think we need to stop it and drain whatever's in there. Let's go ahead and release that. Wow, look at that. Now, I don't know if you can just keep that open or it should be closed, but in any case, you can do it, I guess, either way. I want to keep it closed, and we'll continue that. And yeah, you can see here once it fills up, and you actually know how much juice you're getting according to this measurement here too. But yeah, it's doing a really good job here in the hopper, and that blade inside is moving everything around. And I believe it is finished. So let's go ahead and stop it, and we'll pour out the rest. And this is how much juice we got, which is about 20 ounces or 600 milliliters from 4 apples that were pretty small. And I guess the hopper was filled almost full, probably 3/4 or a little more. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try this juice out, what we made here. And this is the color of it. There's something black in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. And wow, that tastes super good. So yeah, I don't know how well you'll be able to tell here on the video, but the pulp is, I would say, definitely on the finer side. It seems like this mesh here, the more fine one, does a really good job with minimizing pulp. And we can see all of our leftovers here are pretty dry. I mean, they're moisty, obviously, but they're not wet at all. They're just kind of like a moisty compound. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this juicer because this is going to be a lot more easier and funner just to throw whatever in this hopper. And the way it operates and process is so simple, and you don't have to worry about chopping everything in little pieces, as it does a great job of chopping it all up on the way down. Now, if you do chop it in smaller pieces, that would be easier for the machine, obviously. But as far as, you know, being meticulous, you don't have to be, which is really cool. But for the next one, I think I want to try something a little more green. But before we do that, let's see how easy it is to clean this thing up. And so all we got to do is just raise this up and take it to the sink. All right, so here we are at the sink, and the pulp you can, you know, do whatever you want with. Maybe compost it or maybe food for something else. But as far as cleaning goes, we can go ahead and take this lid off, and it's practically clean. I'm gonna go ahead and just rinse it. And then I'm just gonna put water right into the hopper. The little door in the bottom open, but yeah, if you just fill it up, you can see that it, you know, doesn't leak from the bottom anywhere, so it just keeps filling up. Once we get enough water in there, we can just release it, and it'll kind of clean out that section of the juicer. Oh, yeah. So because of the plastic they use, it seemed like everything just comes off really easy, which is nice. And so this part is pretty much clean, and now we can take the assembly out and kind of separate them. Separate the auger. Again, very easy to clean. And then we got our mesh here, which you probably want to use the brush, which is this guy here. We're just going to kind of lightly rub around. And the reason you want this is because you don't want the little holes to be clogged. Kind of quick brush, and also from the inside. And we got some stuck right here. You can use this little picker here to pick it out. So yeah, I mean, that's like the hardest thing to clean, and that wasn't hard at all. And we got this guy here, which we need to release where the pulp comes out. Now we can rinse it out. Simple as that, everything is clean. And now all we need to do is wipe everything down with a clean towel. Just mostly want to get the water off of the parts, especially the mesh. You want to wipe that down really good. Because this is a stainless steel, it's not supposed to rust, but definitely don't want to leave water droplets on it, as it will degrade it much faster. So yeah, and it's actually quite important to do the cleanup right after you juice, because if you leave this for later, not only is it going to be much harder to clean off, but it'll also damage and stain all the parts. Do this as quickly as possible after juicing. So yeah, now we're just going to build everything back like it was before. And on this, guys, I don't know if I mentioned, but there's a larger tab right here and a smaller one, and you can kind of see the smaller and larger on each side. So so that could be confusing, but yeah, you just line them up. And also our auger, I'm gonna put that in there. And then our main container, which also can be rubbed down pretty quick, and then we can put them together. And the way you do that is that little nub right there lines up with the unlock, and that's where it goes in. And then you kind of close it to the lock position, and that's how it locks it in. And we are done, so we can put the machine away for later, and it'll be ready for the next juicing. All right, so for the next part in the recipe book, I got kind of interested in this ABC juice, and it has lemon, apple, beets, and carrots, and it kind of gives you directions here of how to make it. And so I went ahead and prepared all the ingredients, but I realized I ran out of apples, so I used oranges instead, a couple of those. There's my half a lemon. I got a whole beet cut in 4 pieces, and 2 carrots that are decently large cut in half. So this should be a pretty fun juice to make. Well, let's go ahead and dump all of our ingredients. Actually, I'm going to put the oranges on top. And yeah, there's so much room in there, it's crazy. We'll close the lid and start the juicer. All right, so it's a little violent in there as it's trying to break them down. But we can see we got juice starting to accumulate there. And there goes our pulp. All right, and that looks like everything. So let's go ahead and let the juice out. And it's perfect, looks like. So I'm pretty curious of what we got here. It looks really good and tastes even better. So yeah, love that this thing comes with a recipe book and you can make different kinds of juices. And also I wanted to mention the safety aspect, which if it's running and you pop the lid open and start opening it, it will stop. So you know, you can't stick your hand in there and get into the blade. And this is great for children. When you close it, it starts. So let's go ahead and turn that off. And another thing to note, that you can't separate these 2 pieces while it's on the base, so it won't come apart. So the only way it comes apart is if you raise it, and now you can twist them apart. So that's something to note there. And so for the next part, we're gonna step it up a notch and probably do the most common ingredients in juicing that no one likes to talk about, because usually machines have trouble with these, and that's gonna be ginger and celery. Celery is quite stringy, and so is ginger, very dense and hard to break down. So let's see how this machine does. And we'll start with the celery first. And I got 3 pieces of them cut in half, and they fit in there very good. And I'm not gonna clean out the machine, as we're just kind of testing here, and I don't mind it mixing with whatever leftover we made last. So all right, let's see how this thing does. And so the celery is kind of jumping around in there, but that blade in there is really breaking it up and sending it down to the extraction. All right, so yeah, it's no problem here, but I'm gonna open this, and there's one little celery that kind of was hiding from the blade. Fix that. And we'll restart it, and there it goes. So yeah, you guys can see we got a pretty good amount of juice there just from that celery. So let's go ahead and empty that out. And that's it right there. So I'm going to close this, and we'll now throw in our ginger, which I kind of chopped up to pretty big pieces. It should fit in there quite easy, I would think. Well, let's see how the machine does with this. And wow, look at that juice go. So yeah, I can definitely hear the load on the machine, and we can see our celery and then ginger coming out there at the pulp side. And yeah, that was really easy for the juicer to press. It did kind of weigh down a bit. I could hear the motor straining, but it wasn't anything serious, or it didn't sound like it, and very quick. All right, well, yeah, as you guys can see, no issues with the celery or the ginger. And I'm gonna empty this one into a cup as it is ginger and it's probably pretty strong and probably will overwhelm everything with this much. So yeah, it looks like the J2 Nama juicer is very easy to use, and actually I would say quite enjoyable, as we got a large hopper that everything fits in. It breaks down the ingredients and sends them down and then very quickly juices them. And also it's not very loud, which is a plus. And when you're done with all of it, all you got to do is just pick it up and take it to your sink, clean it up, which takes about 5 minutes or so, and you're ready for your next juicing. And also I do love how it comes with a recipe book that really gives you good ideas, especially if you're new to juicing. So if you want a trouble-free, enjoyable juicer, I think this one would be very hard to beat. There are pretty good juicers out there, but they're kind of cumbersome with cleaning and setting up, things like that. All right, well, if you guys did enjoy this video, then hit that like button. And if you want to get the juicer for yourself or actually even make a gift, I have some links in the description. Check it out. And if you do enjoy videos like this, I do a lot of other interesting things on the channel, so stay tuned. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.